To get things started, I'd like to invite a man who's always on the ground doing a lot of work. He's always from one end to the other, running and making sure everything is in order. I think it's a new way of looking at how a CEO works. My good friend, Mr. Danial Rahman, please help me welcome him to the stage to deliver his opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, a loud clap for Mr. Danial Rahman.
Thank you very much. Azaz, ASLI and the band. I did not know that was the name that decided for the band as of yesterday, I believe. We had a different, I suggested a different name, but they obviously chose something else. All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. We have, of course, our distinguished guests with us today, Tan Sri Chu, Dr. Elizabeth, our board members of ASLI, Mr. Apurva, from the World Bank, our opening keynote. We've got Dr. Sri Idris Jalla, our chairman of Sunway Group, Dr. Muzaffar, Excellence from Maybank, Excellency Kimriti, Excellency Yat Vinel, Dr. Elvin, and of course Dr. Sri Mustafa Muhammad. All, whether it's ASLI, our partners today, the Jeffrey Chow Foundation, we've also got SDSN and Sunway University. So thank you so much for being with us here today. Strategic partners, respected guests, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the view from up here is a bit different from down there. It is, of course, thank you to our MC, Mr. Gerard Ratnam, Head of English Programming at Bernama, the Malaysian National News Agency. As you can see, Gerard is a master interviewer and a master host, and I'm really glad to have you with us here today. So thank you, Gerard, for this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be able to welcome all of you here. It is my first summit as the CEO of ASLI, a big one. Though did you know, this is actually the 23rd ASLI Banking and Finance Summit, and the first since 2019. So this is a continuation of things that have been done from the past. ASLI, in fact, turns 30 years old this year. And I'm made to understand many of you have attended ASLI events in the past, including myself. Never did I think 10 years ago when I attended my first ASLI event that I would one day be leading this organization. Of course, ASLI is a celebrated entity, has had its ups and downs. But moving ahead, I do hope to see ASLI grow from strength to strength, with more meaningful and impactful dialogue, leadership development, and nation-building initiatives, as well as regional building endeavors, because that's what we stand for. And of course, my heartfelt thank you to all the sponsors and strategic partners here today, as Jared had earlier mentioned, and our partners, the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network and Sunway University. Please once again join me in a round of applause for all of them. And of course, our band, led by Azaz and this wonderful troupe. Azaz is our Director of Partnerships and Strategy. So we don't just hire conventional, he's also unconventional and unconventional person. Azaz was a school dropout at the age of 14. And there's a long story that happened in between, but the summary of it is he's got no PMR, no SPM, no degree, no bachelor's, but he's now got an MBA from the Asia School of Business MIT program. So that's him, and we're very happy to have him here with us. So maybe we have another short riff of 10 seconds or so. Go ahead, guys. Not bad, not bad. I wasn't expecting Careless Whispers there, but okay, it's a nice song. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in ancient China, the concept of banking was integral to the economy. The invention of paper money during the Tang Dynasty and thereafter the Song Dynasty, which witnessed the introduction of the first banknotes, or jiaozi, greatly facilitated trade and commerce by replacing traditional silver coins. The innovations demonstrate the long-standing relationship between finance and societal advancement. In the Arab world, the principles of ethical and responsible finance were deeply ingrained in both cultural and religious practices. In the Quran, Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, verse 29, it says, "O you who have believed, do not consume one another's wealth unjustly, but only in lawful business by mutual consent." A principle that resonates with us here today with our modern ethical banking practices. Music, and that's why we have our band here today, often represents or reflects the spirit of its time and has got a very interesting relationship with banking, finance, and sustainability. Liza Minnelli, that some of you may have heard in Cabaret, sang, "Money makes the world go round." Of that, we are both sure. I'm sure some of you will be familiar with this. And this highlights the pervasive influence of money. And of course, the Beatles, we can't forget they had the song The Taxman. Everyone got tightened up a little bit when I said that. But also the song Can't Buy Me Love, emphasizing that not all valuable things in life can be bought. So in today's technologically advanced world, we can draw upon these virtues of connection, fairness, and mutual respect. And as we navigate the complexities of AI, blockchain, digital currencies, and everything that we're going to be discussing today, we must anchor our financial innovations on these timeless values. I had an opportunity once to work at the Ministry of Finance, and you can see that while policy moves in a certain direction, society can move in another direction. Therefore, the empathy for people on the ground becomes very important. Turning to the second theme of today, which is SDGs, and we also look at Mother Nature, I believe that most Malaysians know the famous song Hijau by legendary Malaysian singer Zainal Abidin. All of you know the song, right? You all know some of the verses of the song? There's one part of the song where he sings, "Bumiku yang kian pudar, siapa yang melihat? Dikala kita tersedar, mungkinkah terlewat?" In English, for our international guests, it's translated to, "My fading earth, who is witnessing this? By the time we finally realize, might it be too late?" So speaking of the possibility of being too late, Professor Jeffrey Sachs, President of the UN-SDSN, our partners today, and a Jeffrey Chia Distinguished Professor here at Sunway University, recently said, and I quote, "The Earth is warmer now than it was 125,000 years ago." He adds, "Just when we need the world leaders to pay attention to the climate crisis or the upcoming COP26, we instead are enmeshed in a devastating war in the Middle East, as well as trade conflicts, as well as the war between Russia and Ukraine." After some commentary on politics and power, Professor Jeffrey Sachs ends with, and I quote, "Let us therefore call for a new and honest dialogue of the rich with the poor, the powerful and the rich, the powerful and the powerless, and the large nations with the small nations. Let us say no to the wars, let us say yes to peace, and yes to planetary health and planetary survival." In conclusion, today we are discussing the future of finance and financing the Sustainable Development Goals. Let us remember these teachings and insights. In a world that is currently very much shaken by all the happenings around us, Ukraine war, US-China trade dispute, and the ongoing Palestine-Israeli conflict, or what you may want to call it, it is vital to remain grounded. It is vital to remain grounded in gratitude, in the principles of ethical finance, and of course, gratitude for our resources. And of course, finally, to say this, banking and finance, a commitment to use banking and finance as a force for positive change. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, on that note, I thank you very much. Please enjoy the summit.
Mr. Danial Rahman, CEO of ASLI.